Hi beautiful, welcome to my channel. In today's video we are going to be reviewing the new brush collection from Wayne Goss. I got these from Beautylish. These is my second brand of Japanese made makeup brushes that I try. I absolutely love how natural hair brushes perform, and as soon as these launched I knew that I wanted to try them and review them for you guys in case you guys are interested. I'm super excited to get into it. I tried every single one of the brushes in the set and I tried them for multiple things. They are multitasking brushes, so you can definitely try them different ways, and I can't wait for you guys to hear my thoughts on these. So let's just go ahead and get started. I want to start this video by saying that I absolutely love Wayne Goss. I have watched his videos for years and years, at least 8 or 9 years for sure, probably even more than that. I have followed his releases and launches, and this is my first time ever actually buying a brush set from him, and I'm really excited to try it and review it and see what the hype is about and hopefully really love them. Now I am of course going to be as brutally honest as I always am in all of my makeup reviews, but if anything is wrong with the product or if there's something that I don't particularly love, I always like to point it out so that you guys know exactly what you're buying. With that said, let's get started by opening the brushes. I haven't even seen them yet. So this is what came in my Beautylish box, and this brush set retails for $225 plus taxes. I ended up paying $242.44, so this was a pretty penny. Now these are Japanese natural hair brushes, so the price point is kind of to be expected. Let's go ahead and open them up. And here is how they came. This is a set of 7 brushes, and we are going to be able to do a full face of makeup with just these, which is something that honestly excites me. I love using my brushes for different purposes across the board, and I love natural hair brushes. I think they totally make a huge difference when it's time to blend out your makeup, especially when it comes to powder products. I feel like natural hair bristles definitely make blending things out easier and faster, and they feel a lot softer on the skin as well. So I'm excited to use these for sure. Now, with paying $225 for a brush set, I was a little bit disappointed when I saw them wrapped in tissue paper because I really thought they would come in some sort of pouch. Obviously, I didn't see anywhere that they would come in any sort of pouch. And now that I think about it, I don't need a pouch for them. But just because it is a luxury item and it is a set of brushes, I kind of expected one for some reason. So let's go ahead and unwrap this and we'll start doing some makeup. Here is brush number 1, which will probably be perfect for setting powder, touch-ups, bronzer, blush, any of that big powder stuff. This brush would absolutely work for. Brush number 2 I'm actually really excited for because it looks like a natural hair brush that would actually be perfect for liquid or cream foundations, and I honestly haven't found a natural hair brush that I like for liquid, so I'm of course going to put this one to the test. Brush number 3 is the one that I was actually the most excited about because I have been needing a natural hair brush for my highlighter, and I think this one is going to be perfection for that. So I'm very excited to use this one. I think it would also work for under eye powder like a dream. Brush number 4 we can totally use for highlighter if we want to be a little bit more precise with it. Also to set our under eyes and put some eyeshadow on the crease. Brush number 5 is a totally perfect brush for eyeshadow, and I definitely see myself using this one on the crease. Brush number 6 is a little bit more of a precision brush. This one would work wonders for smoking out eyeshadow underneath the eye and also for being a little bit more precise on the crease area. And lastly, brush number 7 is just like a little bit of a bigger version of a pencil brush, so this one is going to work wonders for detail work. I know that these brushes are calligraphy inspired and they definitely have that vibe. The handles actually feel really nice and sturdy, and I do not think that they are wood because of the sound that they make, but honestly they could be, and even if they're not, they feel really nice and sturdy and like they would last for a very long time, which is definitely what we want when we pay this price point for nice makeup brushes. I'm of course going to leave you guys links to everything that I'm going to be using on my face today, including these brushes and any product mentioned in the video. So if you guys are interested in any of these products, make sure that you check out my links in the description box. And to get started, I'm going to use the Jelly Primer by Huda Beauty. This one was sent to me by the Huda Beauty team around a week ago, and I have been using it a lot lately, and I actually really like this primer. I don't think it's super special. Like, I think it gives my pores a little bit, a tiny bit of a blur, but not as much as like my Tatcha primer would, but it just gives your face a really nice slip, and I really like that because the foundations go so nicely on top of this primer. I feel like in the past few months I've gone from liking only one primer to having like 4 primers that I rotate through. For foundation, I'm going to use my Armani Luminous Silk foundation. I have not been able to put this one down. I've used it every time that I've done my makeup since I reviewed it a few videos ago, and I absolutely love it. And I'm going to apply it with my number 2 brush from this Goss collection. Besides some older Sephora collection brushes that I have that have natural hair in them, the only Japanese natural hair brushes that I have are the Refer brushes, which you guys know I'm obsessed with. And I honestly have not been able to really love any of the Refer brushes for liquid products, especially when it comes to very liquidy foundations like the Armani one, which tend to be my favorite. So when I saw the shape of this Goss brush, I was very curious to see if I was going to like this one for liquid. And the reason that I haven't liked any yet so far is because I feel like, because of the nature of the natural hair, which again I absolutely love for any sort of powder product, I find that these natural hair brushes leave streaks when applying liquids. And I honestly don't think it's much different with this one. You guys can see right there, I lowered the light. Don't get me wrong, you can definitely totally work with them and eventually get your foundation to lay nicely on the face, but for some reason I just prefer to use synthetic hair when it comes to liquids and creams, or sponge, but the natural hair brushes are the best for any sort of powder product, that's for sure. You guys can see it even with the light on, that like the foundation goes on streaky, and it's because, see, the natural hair bristles kind of clump up a little bit. If I'm doing anything wrong, make sure to let me know down in the comment section. I will not be offended, but this is just a problem that I have always noticed. And again, absolutely love these for powder. Just for liquid, they just don't work the best for me. I'm going to go over everything with my Love is the Foundation brush from IT Cosmetics. I was really hopeful because the shape of this one just seems like it would be perfect for foundation, but just the way that the bristles kind of clump up a little bit makes it so that things go on streaky. I'm cleaning the number 2 brush to use with powder because I think for powder it'll work absolute wonders. And I'm going to go ahead and do my concealer real quick so that when I come back we only have powders left to deal with. Okay, I went ahead and finished applying my concealer, which I ended up doing with a damp sponge, which is my favorite way to do foundation and concealer. And then the next step for me would be under eye setting powder. So I have my Pat McGrath under eye setting powder here, which is my absolute favorite, and I'm going to grab the number 3 Goss brush, which I think is going to be perfect for this, and it just looks like the most perfect shape to get right underneath my eye. This is definitely something I appreciate about these brushes. They can fit perfectly into any little corner. And because they're natural hair and super soft, the powder is of course getting deposited beautifully underneath my eye. That was really nice. I like that I can kind of target where my lines are underneath my eye with it to really just make sure that those are very nice and set. So I love this brush. Going back to the number 2 brush, I brought out my Gucci powder and I'm going to try it with it. So I'm just getting it in there and I'm just going to set my foundation. For powder, I really like it because you can really buff in any setting powder to just set your foundation very nicely. Okay, for the powder it worked perfectly, and I love this Gucci powder. Let me lower the light to show you. It just makes everything look super smooth and soft and airbrushed. And with the Wayne Goss number 2, it applied perfectly. So let's go and get onto some bronzer. And I'm very excited to try the number 1 brush. I have my Gucci bronzer here. Let's pick up some bronzer. And for bronzer, this brush is going to be really nice because you can really put the bronzer only on one side of the brush. And I feel like it gives you more precision when you're applying bronzer. And even though it has that finer point to it, you can really still buff your products onto the face to really blend them out, which is very nice because I was kind of scared that the precise point was going to make things not blend as easily, but that's not a problem at all because the bristles are so soft that really they bend very easily and you can really buff your products in still really nicely. Let's do the forehead. No complaints here, this is working beautifully. And the jawline. I'm doing the sides of my nose, just pinching it a little bit. I love that bronzer and this brush worked wonders for it. For blush, I want to use the same brush, so I'm going to give it a little quick clean. Okay, she's clean and I'm going to put on my Flirtatious blush from Pat McGrath. Since I couldn't put this one on my cheeks yesterday, I'm so excited to use it. So let me just grab some of it. I knew I was going to love this blush on my cheeks. That was so pretty. I cleaned my number 3 brush to use with highlighter and I cannot wait because this just looks like it would be perfect for right there. But I am also going to use the number 4 on this side and I want to determine kind of like which one I like better because I think these two are both perfect for highlighter. The number 3 was the one that I also used underneath my eye, which it was absolute perfection for that. So let's try it for this as well. See this little angle right here? Glorious. I feel like that just it's meant to be. Okay, so let's do highlighter on this side. And the size of this brush and that angle too is also perfect for highlighting the cheekbones. So let's do the same thing with this smaller one. Same angle, same amount of perfection in that sense. And let's do it right here. This also works really well, but I think I prefer the number 3 brush for the highlighter. Just because it occupies a little bit of a bigger amount of space and it's like a little faster at applying it. But if you want to be very precise, then the number 4 would be perfect. So let me clean this one now and try it for eyeshadow. She is ready to go. Let's try it with some eyeshadow. And I am dying to play with my Pat McGrath quad again, but I can't do this one because I have 4 different blending shadow brushes to try, and that one has 1 matte shade. So I think I'm going to look for a palette that I can build up a little bit and I can try them that way. Okay, I think I'm going to do my Mini Star palette. This one at least has 2 matte shades that I can build on top of one another. So I'm going to first grab the number 4 brush, the big one, with this taupey shade right here. And I'm going to try it on the crease of my eye. I'm trying to figure out how I want to like angle it so that it blends but still deposits the color where I want it. It's honestly not giving me any trouble at all. It's blending things very fast, which again, with something as pointed as this is, I was just curious about how it would blend eyeshadows, but that works amazingly. Let me do the same thing on the other eye. Now this brush is definitely nice for a wash of color all over the eye. I feel like we need a smaller one to really be able to define things a little more. So let me grab the number 5, and I like that this one's a little chunkier. I think this one is going to work perfect. I'm going to use that same shade and I'm just going to darken it up a little more. Yes, I definitely love this number 5 brush for the crease. I'm just able to be a little bit more precise with it and it still blends very nicely. Switching to the number 6, we're getting a little bit darker, a little bit deeper right here on this shade. And this one I think is going to work wonders for this outer corner. I'm trying to blend it onto the crease a little bit with the same brush. I switched back to the number 5 so that I can make it blend a little higher. Same thing on here. I find that this number 6 one is perfect for precision and it builds intensity very nicely, but it doesn't blend it up or it doesn't blend it out as nicely as going back to like the number 5 does. So I'm going back to the number 5 to really diffuse any edges. I'm going to grab this color right here with my finger. There isn't a flat brush on this set, so I think the finger is going to work well for this. You know what, maybe I should actually try that. So I cleaned the number 6 brush and I'm going into this shade. It actually grabbed a really good amount of it. And oh yeah, no, that actually works perfect for packing on shadows. Forget anything I just said. Don't knock it till you try it, right? No, that works so good for packing on that shimmer on that inner part of the eyelid there. I love that. I think I might actually like the number 6 better for this than I did earlier when I was trying to blend out the darker eyeshadow on the outer corner. Which again, it deposited it beautifully, but for blending it upwards, the bigger brush worked much better. Beautiful. That is so stunning. I love shimmers. The brush I have left to use is this one here, which is the number 7, and I'm going into the dark shade with it. And I'm going to put it right underneath my eye, starting on the outer corner, and then I'm going to blend it inwards. This number 7 brush is perfect for under eyes. Okay, eyeshadow is done. Let me go ahead and put on some mascara and I'll be right back and I'll give you guys my final thoughts on this collection. I just had the worst time putting on my mascara. First, I smudged my mascara all underneath this eye right here. I was able to clean that up, and then when I was finishing up with my second coat, I sneezed twice. I think I cleaned it enough, and thankfully you don't have to see my eyeshadow up close today. When I first started filming this video, I thought towards the end of the video I would compare these brushes to my Refer brushes, but it's honestly not worth it because all of these brushes have very different shapes from any of the Refer brushes that I have. So in that sense, I'm glad I bought them and there's nothing too repeated about having both sets, because my Refer brushes have more traditional brush shapes per se, and these are more pointed and elongated, and I think that I'm going to be able to use them both interchangeably and that I'll use them for different things. Am I able to do my full face of makeup with these brushes? I am, if we don't count putting on foundation and concealer, which I tend to prefer to do with a sponge regardless. For anything powder related, these brushes worked amazingly. So if you've ever had natural hair brushes, they perform just as you would expect them to. I think that they are wonderful. A little bit pricey. I feel like I would have liked a little bit of a better presentation for how much I paid for these, but if you love Wayne Goss and you want to support him and you've been looking into natural hair brushes, then definitely go for these because I think that they are very nice. Now, if you more so just want to get introduced to natural hair brushes and you want to see what the differences are between natural hair brushes and the ones that you're currently using, then I wouldn't go for these because this is kind of like a little bit of a big leap. Like, it's over $200 for the set. I would wait for Refer brushes to have another sale. They usually run really big discounts, and while the quality of the Wayne brushes, like in the handles, looked a little better than the handles on the Refer brushes, the bristles on the brushes, which is the most important thing, the Refer brushes work just as wonderfully as the Wayne brushes do. So if you just want to get introduced to natural hair brushes, I always let you guys know whenever Refer puts their bundles on sale, so I feel like Refer is a much better way to get introduced to natural hair brushes than going full in for the $225 set. Now, whenever this set goes on sale or anything like that, it would absolutely be an amazing deal. Overall, I'm very glad that I got them. I'm happy I have them in my collection, and I know that I will get a ton of use out of them. They do have really amazing quality, and I'm super excited to continue to play with them. If you were wondering about them and you were just wanting for a review to see if they were good or not, they are amazing. Definitely go and get them. But again, I feel like if you're just trying to get introduced to natural hair brushes, then I would go the Refer route. I will leave you guys the links to everything down in the description box of this video, so if you're interested in purchasing any of the items I talked about today, I will link them down there. I'll also link my brush cleaner in case you guys are interested. I love using this daily brush cleaner whenever I want to switch shades on my brushes or just clean them on a daily basis. Anyways, I love you guys so much. I really hope this video was somewhat helpful. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and definitely let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much, and I hope to see you back in the next video. Bye!